Welcome back to another episode of the Who You Know Show podcast, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and life. My name is Trevor Houston, and on this show, you'll learn the strategy, grit, and mindset it takes to overcome obstacles so you can level up in your career, recover your cash flow, and live the life of purpose that God intended for you. Don't forget to look at the mic drop moments time-stamped in the show notes below. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to pay it forward, subscribe, and leave an honest review so we can improve. Thanks for listening. My name is Trevor Houston, and please enjoy this episode of the Who You Know Show.
By popular demand, okay, I want to tell you, I got a lot of messages about this gentleman here, Paul Cameron. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Paul is an IT recruiter, headhunter, search advisor, coach, resume writer, and YouTuber. Man, you do it all. So I've got just a couple questions for you. What led you from being a recruiter to coaching, or was it from coaching to recruiting, or like, how did you get started in doing all that?
And I'm sure Foster's going to be able to identify with this as well as any with your history and talent acquisition. But in what we do, the way that candidates judge recruiters is whether we get them a job or not. So if I find somebody a job, they think I'm a great recruiter. And if I don't get them a job, they clearly see that I have no idea what I'm doing because I didn't get them a job. Right. And the thing about that is, Foster, we get an open position. We don't just call one person. I'm going to call 100 people. And that one person that I place in that job is going to think I'm fantastic, but the other 99 are telling all their friends how horrible I am. So I started back in 2002 to give these seminars to the different job clubs around the area. And I just really enjoyed it. I found that I loved helping the job seekers. And then we started, we had a radio show here in Chicago called Job Talk that I co-hosted for a bunch of years. And it's just, it's really fun and rewarding to help people learn the process, from the inside, from a recruiter's perspective.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people saying, you got to get Paul on here. So
absolutely.
You're definitely the expert. What is one of the biggest mistakes that you see job seekers making?
I'd say that by far one of the biggest mistakes is not knowing where you've sent your resume. Just think of the impression that you make when somebody calls you. When I'm calling somebody, I'll just use myself as an example. When I'm calling candidates, the ones who have applied to the job, and they answer the phone and they say, "I'm sorry, can you describe the job a little bit? I'm sending my resume out to so many places. I know what job is it again?" Like, really? Versus that person who says, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is drive staff. This must be about that .NET spot. I'm so glad you called. I thought that could be a great fit." Totally different impression. And it's just from having a good tracking system to follow where your resume is going.
So I know you have a tracking system. So you created a system on, I call it Trello, whatever you call it. So you created a system for job seekers to kind of like track their follow-up and to help guide them through that process so they don't lose any opportunities, right?
Yeah. It really outlines the process. So you can follow a job lead from start to finish through the full life cycle of a lead, from you get the lead itself and how and where to go get those leads. How do you do that on a consistent daily basis? That can be kind of wearing, but if you break them down into smaller chunks on where you're going to go get 5 leads from here and there, and then you cycle them through.
Yeah.
I'm going to do research on. You got the research phase, and I got a checklist in there. Here's the things you got to do for the research phase. And then you go to the network phase and try to network your way in first before applying, because you're going to have significantly better success that way. And then you apply, got a checklist of things to do and, when to follow up and how to follow up if you follow that schedule. I know a lot of people do that in Excel, but with Trello, you can put all the exact same information in that you can put in Excel, but you can also attach your custom resume that you sent to that company, which sometimes you can't save the same titled document in your computer. You have to keep renaming it. You can save it with the same name, inside these different cards. You can attach the job description that you're applying to each card, where instead of a row in Excel, each card has its own email address. You can forward all the correspondence from that company into each card. It's got its own mobile app, so you can have this information wherever you are. It's just, it's amazing, but it truly is. It's the process, not, having something. It's not the medium. It's the process. I've taken the whole process I've gotten, put it on paper, for people who are more comfortable, wearing out trees and pens and things, as long as they can do that. So there's just lots of ways to track it. Excel is fine, just as long as you're keeping track.
That sounds like kind of analogous to what we teach, right? Which is getting yourself noticed using video, which we teach BombBomb because it's such a robust product. And you can do it. You obviously could use your phone to record video, right? And send that out. But it doesn't have all of the features, all of the benefits that you get from BombBomb, the tracking, the analytics, the formatting. And so very, very similar, right? You could do it. You could do it in Excel, like you said. I know a lot of people that are using that, but
or a scratch piece of paper.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Handwritten notes, but yeah, that's great. How hard is it to implement? Is it turnkey? Is it ready to go?
I've already built the thing and it's free. So I just send it to you. Put a course together to show you how to do it.
I actually checked it out. It's pretty cool. It's very, very detailed. Oh my gosh. And detailed in a good way. Like, sometimes things can feel overwhelming if there's too much information, but it's detailed in a good way. Very, very thorough process of, from start to finish, what you need to do, and those checklists that give you, you're not going to forget.
Right.
And you can drag and drop and do a lot of things. So, and then you've got the course that kind of instructs people on as far as the usability, right? That helps them understand what each card means, how to do it, right? The money is in the follow-up, right? You guys have ever heard that? The money's in the follow-up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good system. It's like a CRM. You need to have a process, whatever it is, whether you're doing it on a piece of paper, like he said. The important part is you don't let opportunities slip through the cracks. But I love what you have. How do job seekers get this information? I know you have a YouTube channel. Like, do they go to YouTube, subscribe to your channel?
My YouTube channel is just youtube.com/speedupmyjobsearch. But if you want the free membership and the free board, just go to speedupmyjobsearch.com and click on free memberships, and it's right there. And the great thing about something like this is, as opposed to tracking it in your inbox or just in your head, is the next time you're going to go look for a next position, which unless you're going to retire in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to look again. You don't have to start from scratch. You've got all this business intelligence right there. You've got all these names and numbers and people you've been in contact with. It's just, there's so many advantages now that we didn't have, 10, 20 years ago.
Now that you've kind of got an opportunity to be on the show and see our audience and stuff like that, who is somebody that you think would be a good fit? Or do you think, because obviously everybody was like, you got to have Paul on the show. You got to have Paul on the show. And you're in this space all the time. Who's somebody that is also crushing it in this space that you think would be a good fit to bring onto this show?
In terms of helping job seekers, I can send you a whole list of names. There's a lot of really sincere people that are putting in lots of volunteer time and hours that are just doing an amazing job helping job seekers out here. And I'd be happy to share all their names with you.
Oh man, you see that? Yeah. See, hey, I did that earlier. Ask and you shall receive, right? Love that.
How is the job market in Chicago, Paul? Is it, I know down here in Dallas-Fort Worth, it's still pretty strong. But obviously the pandemic has affected things. I know some people are open to relocate, and Chicago's probably on a lot of people's, top list.
Well, it definitely slowed down considerably, especially when we became the hot spot. They had the news was just a couple blocks down from my house filming, hey, this is one of the top 4 worst areas in America. But great. But it's starting to open up again. We're starting to get more frequent interviews going and starting to make some placements again. And we're starting to see other people land in the job search community, which is good. So it's opening up again, which has been nice.
All I know is Mark is from that's where you're from, right?
Yeah, Northern Illinois.
Yeah, Northern Illinois. And all I know is anytime we sit down with somebody, they're also from Northern Illinois.
Somewhere
Yep.
up north.
And I'm like, I'm like, I was born and raised here in Dallas, and nobody's from Dallas. Like, everybody's from Northern Illinois.
We meet more people from Northern Illinois.
He knows more people.
Yeah.
He has more commonality and more in common with folks than I do. And I'm like, I was born and raised here. But there's a common theme there. It's cold.
It's cold. Well,
nobody wants to be there because it's cold.
and Paul, this is for you and I, and I want to dedicate this to Trevor and the viewer audience.
I think I can feel what's coming.
The Bears.
I knew it.
Oh, man.
Paul, I was going to ask you if you were a Bear fan.
Oh yeah, season
Yeah.
ticket holder for 19 years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man.
Trevor and Mark, we've had more fun just back and forth banter about Cowboys and the Bears.
What Mark won't tell the audience is that he's a Cowboy Club member, and he pays a lot of money in the Cowboys Club. Just so you know, spends a lot of money.
He bought me a drink one time. Mark bought me a drink one time, and I lost my car. I didn't remember where I parked.
All right, hey Paul, man, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for coming.
thank-
Tell me that YouTube page again.
Please. It's youtube.com/speedupmyjobsearch.
You can get that Trello board, which is going to have all that stuff he was talking about for follow up. Y'all need to do that. Go check that out.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.